The MacVoices update for February 2025. This is MacVoices. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. This is the February 2025 MacVoices update. Already, it's the end of February. It's a short month, so I guess we'll let it go. That means that there's not a whole lot to tell you that you probably don't already know, but there are a lot of things I want to remind you about. First off, we finished off our CES coverage. Actually, the very last thing was published yesterday. Norbert Frosse and I sat down and sort of reviewed our adventures at CES this year, gave you maybe a little bit of the behind the scenes as far as what it's like to prep for the show, what we do during the show, the events we go to. It's a little bit of inside baseball, but a number of people have asked about it. I keep getting emails asking about different aspects of our coverage. And I've tried to answer that with a blog post in the last update, sometimes in the dispatch as it comes. So I may try to expand the blog post a little bit and give some more specific details. But if you like it, great. And if not, just go enjoy the interviews because there were a lot of them and there were a lot of great ones. We finished off with a total of 51 this year. And I think there's not a bad one among them. We also didn't lose any interviews this year due to someone's technical ineptness. That would be me. We had that problem last year, but this year everything went completely smoothly. So I want to thank not only Norbert for everything he did to make me look good on camera and to bring all that great information to you, but also to all the folks who agreed to get on camera with us and talk about their products. The one thing I do want to emphasize, though, that I've said a couple times in different locations, I like to do, whenever possible, I like to do an interview with the people who are producing these products or representing these products, as opposed to having me pick it up and say, here it is, and these are the cool features about it. I will do that in an interview later or a review or something like that where I will express my opinion. But in that kind of situation, in a trade show situation, I want them to tell you what's great about it. Because first of all, they know the product inside out. I don't. Second of all, they're going to hit the high points. They're going to give you the elevator pitch of the things that they think are the most important. Later in reviews or other analysis, I can throw in my opinion, Norbert can throw in his, but in that situation, we want to let you hear from those people because they've put a lot of effort into those products. We sometimes talk about how things aren't going to be here in a few months or another year because you look at a product and think, wow, really? To be honest, most of the time when we feel that way, we just walk away from them because we don't want to waste your time. But sometimes it's good to talk to those folks, even if we don't think they may be around, we think they may be part of a trend or setting a trend, and that's why we talk to them. MacVoices Live rolls on every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. We'd love to have you join that. Our attendees seem to be growing, slow but sure. But it's also turned into just a nice little fun evening every week to talk tech, sometimes products, sometimes news, sometimes tech and politics. And we had a little discussion about that recently in an intro to MacVoices, where I made clear that to the panel and to everyone else that we aren't going to do partisan politics. We're not painting one party as good or another party bad. We will call out the people and the situations and the countries and the governments and the representatives when we think they're wrong. We will applaud them when we think they're right, but only from an objective standpoint, not from a partisan standpoint. And unfortunately, I keep having to bring this up and remind people of this because it seems like we're getting to an increasingly partisan world. And I just don't care for that because I think it clouds your judgment. So I believe that you should approach everything, every one of these stories or these kinds of stories that you see in your news feeds with just a little bit of skepticism and a little bit of let's step back and look at the facts and not just cheer because it's one side or the other or condemn because it's one side or the other. So forgive me if I keep harping on that, but I do think it's really important in today's environment. The other thing I want to remind you about is everywhere that we publish MacVoices, You may subscribe to the audio version in your favorite podcatcher, whether that's Apple Podcasts or Overcast or something else. You may go to the website and listen directly. We do publish and create Mac Voices as a video show. And so sometimes there are aspects of it, not just the CES interviews, but even the live show, that they translate well into audio, but you don't always get the full effect, especially the fellowship aspect and the fun aspect of it, because sometimes you just have to see people's expressions or see their reactions to different comments to really enjoy it. So I would encourage you to visit either the website where we embed the YouTube link so you can watch the video version there. You can always go directly to YouTube at youtube.com/MacVoicesTV, which also ironically just happens to be where you'll find the live show every Tuesday night. Watch the episodes there. We have a Vimeo channel, which is vimeo.com/MacVoices. The videos get also published there. And I upload them directly to Facebook. So if you are on Facebook and that's your preference, you can always visit the Mac Voices page or Mac Voices group there. You'll see a link to them and you can watch them there. But I would encourage you to do that just to get a feel for it. Maybe not every single one, but dip in and out and see, what's going on and the people that are behind the voices. I do publish to a number of social media sites as well. Right now, I publish notifications of shows on Mastodon, X. Let's see, I got to do them all. Blue Sky, Threads, and Instagram. Oh, and micro.blog. So if you're on any of those, I would encourage you to follow me so you get the notifications. I'm at Chuck Joyner on all of those, and that's the easiest way for me to appear in your feeds, or the shows to appear in your feeds with me, for better or worse, and find out what we're talking about and what's there. Because we publish such a large amount of content, I don't necessarily expect you to watch or listen to every single one. Dip in and out again as it suits you, as the topics suit you, or the style of the show suits you. But definitely check it out because there's a great amount of information. And especially with Mac Voices Live, we have different opinions, and that's something else that I personally like. Not everybody agrees with everyone else, but it's a civil discussion, and sometimes we just have to agree to disagree. And it ends up being a lot of fun because, of course, there's a lot of needling back and forth as well. So the objective is to inform and entertain, and at any given moment, those two can switch back and forth. So again, spend a little time, check it out. I think you will enjoy it. Lastly, I want to make sure that I remind you about Mac Voices Magazine, which is completely separate from the show, other than the fact that I flip the shows into that Flipboard magazine so that you have yet another place you can find them. But I also curate from my personal news feed every informational article or how-to article that will help you do more with your Apple tech and with other tech that we talk about on a regular basis. So you won't find any news, you won't find any commentary or any of those things. What you will find are tips and tricks and information that will help you be more productive. I think I've hit everything that I wanted to hit except for the support report. And that I want to definitely thank everyone who supports Mac Voices directly through Patreon. We really, really appreciate it. It makes a huge difference. It makes it possible for us to do things like going to Vegas for CES and bringing you all the great content. I don't even know how to say how much I appreciate it, but I would love to have more support from you so we can do even bigger and better things. If you become a Mac Voices patron, you get your name at the end in the credits of every show for the months that you support us. You get access to Mac Voices After Dark, which is the pre and post show from the live show. And sometimes those are as good, sometimes maybe even at times a little better, and definitely more entertaining than the actual show itself, because it's also completely uncensored. So you never know who's going to say what. You also get access to the Mac Voices Slack and the Mac Voices Discord, whichever platform you prefer, we've got presences on both. So we'd love to have you join us, get access to all of those, and get to know the MacVoices crew and the people there, and just make some new friends. So with that, we'll go back to the support report. At Platinum, we had Marty J. At Gold, we had Web B, David G, Robert G, Tim G, and Keith M. At Silver, we had Baz, Cletus H, Craig A, Eric B, Fallen C, Brett C, Bruce E, John E, Barry M, Chuck P, George R, Andrea S, and Daniel S. And at Bronze, we had Brian F, Ronald F, Craig H, Clinton M, John M, Kevin K, Patrick N, and Prop P. Once again, a huge thank you to everyone who supports the show. If they support it through Patreon, you just heard their names. If they support it by sharing the show, writing a review, or giving a thumbs up on social media, it's a little harder to give those folks recognition, but thank you because it helps us grow the audience. If you buy through our affiliate links, that always helps because we get a little kickback and it doesn't cost you anything except just having to remember to click through the right link. And if you visit our sponsors, please let them know you heard about them on MacVoices, especially if you make any purchases. It's always up to you as to whether you want to do business with them, but I try to very carefully curate who we do accept as sponsors so that we're not wasting your time with a lot of meaningless ads that don't have any relevance to you. So please let them know as well. With that, we're back to sort of a normal schedule now for at least a few weeks until NAB knocks on the door. I'm Chuck Joyner. I'll see you back on the regular MacVoices show real soon. As always, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices, or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you MacVoices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.